I think that's what she's telling herself, because she want to do it, she don't want to do it.
This video shows a transaction Marie Jean says she'll never forget. 26-year-old Esther Thielis just minutes before setting herself and their 2 kids on fire using gasoline. She says Thielis came into her 7-Eleven store, the clear jug in her left hand, an immediate red flag.
She was telling another guy in Creole that, hey, when between gas, I need gas. And the guy like, you can put gas in that in that water, bottled water.
Another customer offered to help get her a gas container, not knowing the horrors to follow. Investigators say this all happened August 26, and Thielis' roommate said she took her 2-year-old son to his alleged father's house to give him up so she could move to Fort Lauderdale. The man and his mother both denied they were Thielis' child's father and asked her to get a DNA test first. Deputies say after some time passed, the man's mother brought the 2-year-old back to Thielis' house. Then investigators say Thielis went to the store just minutes away.
As soon as she left the store, it was not even I would say not even an hour when the officer came and talked to me.
When Thielis came back home, investigators say she gathered her kids, her 2-year-old and her infant son, doused them in gas, and then set them on fire. Her roommate came outside asking why. Deputies say she claimed it was, quote, too much humiliation.
But the kids did not ask to be born. I would rather you call GCF or go to the fire department, drop the kids, say you can't no longer provide for them, instead of doing something like that.
The 2-year-old is expected to be okay, but the infant died nearly 2 months later with 80% of his body burned. Marie says she wished she could have done something to prevent this.
I suffer bad PTSD, and that happened in my store. I cannot feel bad because everything was provided for my store.
What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing today? Hope your day's going pretty good. My day's going pretty good. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss a video. Now, this story here that you just seen is very tragic. It's sad. And also, my condolences go out to the family of the infant that lost his life, because this story is very tragic. Now, we have a story that's coming out of Florida, located in Orange County. And shout out to everybody in Orange County, Florida. We have 26-year-old Esther Thielis that did the unthinkable. She took some gasoline and dashed it on herself and her 2 children, all over a custody battle. Now, we have a lot of single parents out here in the United States today, whether it's in Florida, Georgia, all over the world. Single parents are being made each and every single day. And guess what? Those single parents are raising their children with no problems. Even though some of those parents may be struggling, but they are still making a way to provide for their children. And my hats go off to those parents like that. So I'm going to give a hand clap for that right there. Because we do have some good single parents out there these days. So in this story here, it seems like she's having a custody battle between the baby's father and her. So she took her infant child over to the alleged baby father's house, and she dropped the child off. And the father and the father's mother, which is the grandmother, said that they wanted a DNA test for the child.
His roommate said she took her 2-year-old son to his alleged father's house to give him up so she could move to Fort Lauderdale. The man and his mother both denied they were Thielis' child's father and asked her to get a DNA test first.
So I'm not going to knock the guy for wanting a DNA test for this child, because who does not want a DNA test for a child that they're not even guaranteed to even know if that's their child or not? So I'm not going to beat the guy down for that at all. So she take the child and dropped the child off. As y'all seen in that video, they said that 26-year-old Esther Thielis walked into a 7-Eleven convenience store with a clear jug in her hand. That was a red flag from the start.
She says Thielis came into her 7-Eleven store, the clear jug in her left hand, an immediate red flag.
Now, as you all seen in that story, 26-year-old Esther Thielis walked into a 7-Eleven convenience store with a clear jug in her hand. And that also indicated that was a red flag from the start. It never said if she drove to the store, walked to the store, or even rode a bike to the store. The only thing I seen in the affidavit is this woman walked into this store with a clear jug in her left hand. Something is fishy going on. So a customer overheard her talking about putting gasoline on the inside of this jug that she had. So a helping customer overheard that, and he went to go get her a gasoline jug because he told her you cannot put gasoline on the inside of that jug that you have. He got the jug and handed it over to her, not knowing that she was going to dash gasoline on herself and also her children minutes later.
She was telling another guy in Creole that, hey, when between gas, I need gas. And the guy like, you can put gas in that gas in that water, bottled water.
Another customer offered to help get her a gas container, not knowing the horrors to follow.
Sad situation. Now, I guarantee you, if that customer knew that she was going to do something like that, or even the clerk knew if she was going to do something like that, someone may have called the police on her because what she did was wrong and it was trash. She has to be a trashy mother for what she did. But anyway, she got the gasoline and she went back home. Remember, she just dropped the infant off at the alleged father's home because she wanted to go to Fort Lauderdale. She wanted to move to Fort Lauderdale, that is. That's what she said when she dropped the infant off at that house. So she comes back home after she leaves the gas station, and the alleged father's mother dropped the child back off at the home where Esther Thielen was staying with her roommate. So minutes later, Esther Thielen showed back up at home, grabbed her 2-year-old and her infant, went outside and dashed gasoline on herself and also her 2 children.
When Thielen came back home, investigators say she gathered her kids, her 2-year-old and her infant son, doused them in gas, and then set them on fire.
Now, this woman already had a child from the start that was 2 years old. And she also had this infant that she was fighting back and forth with the father with a custody battle. If this woman raised a 2-year-old, I guarantee you that she had the courage to raise another child also. We have a lot of single parents out here in the United States each and every single day. It does not matter if it's a single mother or a single father. People are raising their children all of the time. And yes, you can also struggle with a father in the house too. Because if you got a sorry father that is not helping you, you might as well say that you are a single parent. Even if the father is not sorry, taking care of children is a job. It's not something that's very easy. You have to care after this child. You have to see what their needs are. You have to buy them clothes, foods, give them TLC, give them attention. A child needs the parent in their life in order to survive. But this mother here, she's not a mother for what she did. She's garbage for what she did. So this woman took gasoline and dashed it on herself and her 2 children. Now the infant lost its life and the 2-year-old is expected to survive.
The 2-year-old is expected to be okay, but the infant died nearly 2 months later with 80% of his body burned.
To survive. I'm clapping for the 2-year-old because the 2-year-old will live to tell this story. But the infant has passed away. Sad situation. Now, after all of this, the roommate heard screaming and came outside because they was concerned about what was going on. And the roommate asked her why. She stated, too much humiliation.
Her roommate came outside asking why. Deputies say she claimed it was, quote, too much humiliation.
So I guess she thought that the detective and the policeman and everybody in the investigation was going to pat her on her back and say, hey, I understand kids are hard to raise and things are going bad out here, the economy, Donald Trump, Kamala Harris, and etc. I guess she thought that that's what they was going to say to her. They locked her stupid behind up. And she's also being charged with murder for the infant and also the attempted murder for the other child. So I'm going to give a hand clap for that, because I'm going to say lock her up for life. Do not allow her to ever get back out for the stupid decision that she made. Very stupid. So they need to lock her up and throw away the key for a long time, because these children did not ask to be here. Like that clerk said, she should have took this child to the fire station, the hospital.
The kids did not ask to be born. I would rather you call DCF or go to the fire department, drop the kids, say you can't no longer provide for them, instead of doing something like that.
Or even to the CPS. Now, I'm going to say this also. The alleged father and the grandmother should have handled this situation way much better than what they did. They already seen that this mother was delusional. She was going back and forth with them, and they wanted a DNA test, and she was not probably willing to do this. I'm not saying that this father was not giving this mother a hard time at all. He may have been giving her a hard time, but at the end of the day, it does not matter how hard of a time that the parent may be giving you when it comes down to your children. You need to step up and be the bigger person by taking care of your children. Do not take your children's life or your life, because if you are going through it, you can get through it. You are not the only single mother out there or the single father out there. Now, they could have took this child. I'm talking about the alleged father and the grandmother. They could have took this child to the fire station or the hospital or the CPS, because they already seen that this woman did not want this child at all. She already told y'all she wanted to move to Fort Lauderdale. Let that lunatic go to Fort Lauderdale. Let her go. But if you don't think this child is yours, take the child to the hospital or the fire station. Or even do this. They could have took this child and got a DNA test. Ain't no telling what was going on in the relationship between the alleged father and this 26-year-old woman. Because I'm not going to call her a mother, because mothers do not do things like this. Fathers do not do things like this also. Most of the time, people know who they are procreating with. You know if this guy is trash. You know if this woman is trash. Most of the time, a person know. And then a person will change their mind after they find out that you are pregnant. A man will change his mind real fast. The first thing some man will say is, hey, that child ain't mine. Ain't no telling. That child ain't mine. You probably been messing around with Jack across the tracks. He may have been giving this woman a hard time, but it does not give the excuse for her to take the life of her and also her two children. This woman already had a 2-year-old child that she raised all the way up until 2 years old. The only thing she could have done was kept fighting for the new child, for the infant. It never said how old the infant was. It never said if the infant was 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. It never said. But either way it go, these children did not deserve this. Y'all leave a comment and let me know what y'all think about this, because this story here is very tragic. And also, until I see y'all on the next video, y'all have a good one and y'all have a blessed one. Holla at you.